I'm tired. I don't want to hurt anymore, and for some reason when I'm with you, it just hurts the both of us.
How can you be jealous of something that you brought in the world? Like, how do you not want your child to be greater than you, better than you, all over, just better than who you was, who you been, like, not make the same mistakes as you? Like,
people ask me all the time, how, like, why and how did you, like, cut your mother off? Like, why are you okay with that? You only have one mother. And to that, I have the same response. She only has one me.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amaya and welcome back to Amaya's Unsolicited Opinions. This topic is going to be a topic that is very relevant to my life right now. But also there has also been, like, I don't know what it is during this time after Mother's Day, but all of the toxic mother content and all of the mother-daughter relationship content and the content surrounding, you know, the eldest daughter being the mother and needing to be congratulated for Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to all the eldest daughters, because y'all already know we take care of our mamas, we take care of our daddies, we keep the family together, we take care of our brothers or sisters. Literally, without us, the family is like, what's going on? We are the soul of the family. Sorry, I said what I said. Argue with your mama. Actually, don't argue with your mama, because it is Mother's.
Close your eyes, dry your tears.
Okay, so why do I think this conversation is so taboo in today's day and age? Well, one, because within media, all mother-daughter relationships, the majority of mother-daughter relationships I have seen have been, you know, that mother-daughter bond where, like, the mom is, you know, in love with the daughter, and the mom can't wait to have daughters, and, you know, the daughter is supposed to be the mother's best friend.
I have a feeling you got everything you wanted, and you're not wasting time stuck here like me.
And it hasn't been until, like, you know, the past decade where you've seen the mother-daughter relationship be portrayed in a way where the dark side is basically being revealed.
You know how growing up we all have that voice inside our head that tells us we're not good enough? Well, mine was outside my head driving me to school.
You're gonna lose her. You're gonna lose her just like I lost you.
I am not gonna lose her. Do you hear me? Even if I hadn't gotten pregnant, you still would have lost me. I had nothing in that house. I had no life. I had no air. You strangled me.
You apologize to your brother right this second.
No.
I am not going to tell you again.
Why do you always take his side?
I do not.
Yes, you do. Everybody does.
And my favorite example is Shameless. Obviously, Fiona. Her mom was, like, never there. Where was she at? Never there. And when she was there, she was expecting the daughter, you know, to just accept her apology for not being there and accept her trauma for what she had to go through as a parent, and completely throw to the side all of these years that, you know, she lost her childhood having to take care of all these siblings. And from these mothers specifically, what I've noticed is a lot of the times, even if mothers have this mother-daughter relationship where the mother is here for years, a lot of mothers will allow their first daughters or their daughters in general to endure, and even, you know, have a specific daughter to endure the same pain that they may have had to go through when they were younger. A specific example for me is my mom is the only daughter, so she's one daughter out of 3 brothers, and she would have to do a lot of the cleaning, and essentially all of them female stereotypes, like a woman is supposed to make a sandwich and all of that, baby, she would have to do it. So when I was younger, I was told things like, if you want a husband in the future, you have to cook, you have to clean, you have to wash, you have to dry, you have to fold your clothes this way, you have to do your makeup this way, you have to look like this for a man to want to be with you. Now that I'm 20 and I'm with my boyfriend that I've been with for 4 years, fuck no. What? My boyfriend can cook, my boyfriend can clean, my boyfriend can wash his own booty, and I can look how I feel like looking. What? Around 16, 17, my mom essentially told me that all the way up until getting married, my dad sat up there and cheated on her and then told her before they were going to get married, and she said, I do. And this was all done while we were sitting down, you know, washing dishes, cleaning the house. She was singing, and you know, everything was looking like, oh, this is all happy. And my response to that was, why would you say I do? Fuck. And you know, like, that story is like told in my family in like a, ooh, and everything was happy and it was all sunshine and rainbows. You gotta be a dumbathy to go to the altar and say I do to a man that after every time he was up, laid up with you, hanging out with you, from 5 to 10, 11 o'clock, he was at another girl's house, handing her his wiener. No, baby. Personally, that would be it. I personally, if it was me, if I was in my mother's position, never would speak to my dad again. From there, and then I noticed that the energy surrounding my relationship with my boyfriend and my mom's relationship with my dad turned into this competition. And that's another thing. A lot of people do not talk about a mother's jealousy and her competition with her daughter.
You know what's scary? What's scary is seeing mothers who hate their daughters in real time. Like, I've heard it from a lot of women, a lot of friends, but to see it actually play out on this app and in my real life is truly insane. I am truly convinced that the mothers who are in some type of weird secret competition with their daughters, they are the ultimate pick-me's. Like, how do you hate something that came from you? How are you how can you possibly be in competition with something or someone that came out of you? Something that you're supposed to be nurturing and teaching the way of life. Like,
so Christine, are you dating anyone?
Oh my goodness, no, she's not dating anyone. It's funny because when I was her age, right, sweetie, I had probably like 5 boyfriends by now, but that's not Christine.
Wow, Christine, those are really cute jeans.
Christine, whose jeans are those? They're mine. They're her mom's. I mean, she steals my clothes like all the time, right, sweetie? I don't really go in her closet as much. Christine, what are you and your friends gonna want for dinner? Fast food? Honey. Okay, well, remember when I was your age, I was not eating fast food. No, I won't be eating that. I'm gonna make some chicken. Doesn't Christine have beautiful hair? She actually gets that from me. I've always told her, you know, you better be thankful your mom had good hair because you have good hair.
Because as a daughter, and specifically within Gen Z, because a lot of Gen Z is breaking, you know, these family and generational curses where we're not sweeping things under the rug, and a lot of stuff we're addressing head on and cutting our parents off and all of that. And I noticed that, like, within my mother, like, when it comes to certain things, like, personally, my goal in life is never to be poor and to never be with a bum and to be happy in a sexy old woman. And I've noticed that, like, I'm a girly with a lot of standards. I'm not extremely picky, but I do have standards and I do have boundaries for myself. And I noticed that, like, when I would talk about, like, some of the little boundaries I would have for my boyfriend, my mom and my dad has started to become more upset with the relationship that I have with my boyfriend because he actually abides by those standards, and I'm not dealing with the things that she had to deal with my father at a young age, or in general. Like, there were certain things like her going to college, or, you know, not being able to do the things that she wanted to do until now. And I just do not think that she, you know, even knows what she has wanted to do for real. And being somebody that has always known what they wanted to do, because I've always been put in a position as a big sister where you figure it out and you have it figured out, and that's it. That's it. Because at a young age, I wouldn't even say, like, as far as being vocal about my opinions on certain things, I would have to internalize a lot of my opinions, because according to my parents, them being my parents, they've sacrificed everything they could in their life having me at a young age. And due to that sacrifice, as a child, I need to stay in the child's place. And if any adult was doing anything wrong to me, it was my fault.
Maturing is realizing there were times when the only reason you were told to stay in a child's place is so the adults around you didn't have to take accountability. Because why would a developing child using their critical thinking skills to realize, something's off about this, be a bad thing, unless...
In a way, that's emotional manipulation. And in a way, it's an emotional manipulation, because it's just like, you're making me feel guilty for you opening your legs. because you could have kept them closed. You could have gotten an abortion. I mean, let's be for real. Back in the day, nobody was questioning if abortion, you should have an abortion or not, or getting rid of it or not. You could have had it, baby. You did not have to have me, but unfortunately you did. And you know, as a parent, you failed yourself by essentially bringing a child into a world and with all this unhealed trauma, because getting married and then pretending like you weren't just cheating on all that time is crazy. I'm sorry, but that doesn't make sense to me to this day. And over time, like growing up, I noticed that all of this trauma that she endured has created a person where anytime you have any feeling of anything anybody has done wrong to you, immediately your feelings are being dismissed. Immediately you're being wrong. If she does something wrong to you, you're being disrespectful, you're being loud, you're being you're doing too much, you're selfish or evil. And it's like, babe, you did something wrong to me. I'm not even yelling at you. I'm not cursing at you. I'm just asking, why did you do what you did that was wrong?
What the hell was that? You're so stupid. How do you break a glass?
I'm sorry, I broke it. I'll get you another cup.
How are you gonna afford it? You don't have a job.
And I cleaned it up.
I don't care. Get out of my face. Dinner's ready.
I will be getting $3 million before I hear an apology from my parents. What? They never believe in saying I'm sorry until the past couple of years. And that was only if they, were caught up doing something that was just really wrong. And also within toxic mother-daughter relationships, there is like this over-controlling or codependent dynamic. Like, I sacrificed all of this for you at whatever age I had you. So, I know you're becoming an adult, but I'm going to do what I can to prevent you from becoming an adult. Because, I'm still dealing with that to this day. Like, at 16, I wanted to learn how to drive. Baby, I'm 20, my boyfriend has to teach me how to drive. I got kicked out. My parents said, you'll never understand how it is to be an adult. You think you can pay a phone bill? You done lost your mind. Because what they really wanted to do is kick me out and, like, have me on the curb and be like, please let me back in the house. I cannot survive in this big world. Like, babe, I'm 20 years old. So they kicked me out. I paid the phone bill. I bought my own phone, created a line, and paid the phone bill. Immediately after that, all of my Apple Cash money is out of my Apple Cash, and I have to open up a new Apple Cash because it's been completely deactivated. And I'm kind of just like, when like they'll do small stuff like, they took me off of the family Apple Music plan, so I had to pay for Apple Music and I have to pay for, well, actually I don't have to pay for subscriptions, but they will take me out to Hulu and like small stuff like that. Like, they're doing little things in the guise of like, oh, well, since you're no longer part of this family, you're coming off the Apple plan. But like, it's done, like all these small things are done in a way where like parents might see it in a way where it's like, I'm doing this to help you, and if you would have never disobeyed us, we would have never done this. But it's just like, since I was a child to this day, you're doing everything possible to make adulting as hard as possible for me. And when I take that step and become an adult, you get offended and try to put in barriers in place for me to not be comfortable being adult. Because in them taking me off of Apple Music and all these different little plans means that I have to pay for these things. Do I mind paying for these things? No. Please stay away from me. Please stay away from me. I do not want to have you have anything over my head as an adult. But in a way, it's like my mom is doing this in where they think it's helping me in some evil way in their head. They think that, cutting me off at this point from all these little things is helping me in realizing that all I need to do is go home and apologize and everything's gonna be okay. Because that's what they told my sister. They just said I need to go home and apologize for them sitting up and telling me I'm a selfish and evil human being, and that in doing that everything's going to go back to normal and I'm gonna go back home and we're all gonna be a happy family and unicorns and rainbows. And I feel like the unhealed mother-daughter relationship isn't talked about, and how it affects you to, adulthood. Because as a woman, like, growing up, I was a people pleaser, a heavy people pleaser. And it took a lot of internal work for me to learn that, like, fuck do I need to think about people all the time for when I'm not happy myself? And now I trust myself more, and I haven't completely stopped people pleasing, but I've stopped people pleasing enough where boundaries are in place, and I'm putting boundaries in place with my own parents. And as we could see, I was kicked out. But this dynamic between, the mother-daughter relationship creates a space where, as a daughter, you have to learn how to parent yourself. And a lot of the times you either end up in a place where you're continuing the cycle of generational trauma, or you're breaking out of the cycle, and you have to determine what your relationship with your mother looks like. And personally, if my parents would have never kicked me out, I've been fighting for my mother and my father to for all of us to go to family therapy, because I think there's so much trauma to unpack, and I believe my parents are so unhealed as human beings. Because once you become healed as a human being, when you are in the position of being a parent, there's, obviously you never know the limitations. Like, there's a lot of outside factors. Like, your child can be traumatized by a family friend, or by somebody at school, or by a teacher, and all of that. But as a parent, you never know how you're going to parent a child when it comes into the world, but you can only do the best that you can. And that excuse can only be used for people who are healed and are actively doing the work to become a good parent. Because a lot of the times, parents who have traumatized their children, and parents who have parentified their daughters, and parents who have done the least, because as a parent, if you're not actively trying to learn and grow and progress and do more, you're not a good parent, period. And if your child is bringing, that to your attention, and you're taking that as, them essentially calling you a bad person and calling you an evil person, and getting mad at the fact that they're ruining your reputation as a parent and ruining how you're perceived, then you're a selfish human being. And it creates an environment, like I was saying, where you either have to cut your mother off or have very limited contact with them. And obviously at this point, I am at a point where I have no contact with my parents. Like, you kicked me out, what the I'm not going back over there to be talking to you. Like, when I have went over there to speak to my siblings when my parents weren't there, each time it's like oh, well, your mom said hi, and your dad, my mom never said hi, but they'd be like, your dad said hi, and your mom said, if you want to come back home, all you need to do is apologize, and this and that. And it's like, babe, I'm never going to apologize to you for the trauma that you have inflicted in my life as a child and today. It was extremely traumatizing to get kicked out of my home and be told that I'm a selfish and evil and disgusting human being, when as an older sister, all these years I've been forced to have to figure it out when my parents weren't doing their job. So for them to be sitting up in my face and talking to me like this, all because I did not say Happy Mother's Day, and because I didn't agree with them going on these different vacations, and essentially just saying deal with it, is crazy. Sorry, I didn't deserve it, and I'm not dealing with it. And I could care less of how many little hellos and telling my siblings that they said hi, and all these little comments that they think is going to change my mind. But in my mind, like I said, it's either a limited contact with your parents or cut them off. And right now, babe, you're cut off. You not only in the conversation, I got up to leave because my mom was getting to a point where like she was going to try to fight me, and my boyfriend reacted before I did and was like, honey, please get up. And I got up, and my mother's gonna say you're my daughter, you better sit your ass down right now, you better not walk away with him. And I sat down because that's my mother, even though I should have never sat down. And she had said, at 20 years old, if I want to beat your A, I can, because I'm your mother. And my dad just sat there like, oh, God's gonna do it and God's gonna save it. It's like, babe, you think I want to re-enter an environment like that to make you feel happy? No. That's also what has to do with the people pleasing. Because my sister told me that after that whole situation happened, my mom was going up to her, asking her if she's a bad mother and if she's a bad person for kicking me out of the house, and if what she did was right. And it's like, babe, of course what you didn't do was right. You're an idiot. Next. You don't have to include my other siblings into the situation because you made a mistake and now you can never take it back, because I can never not relive that day. And now I'm in a new environment where I have to adapt to this new environment and adapt to being an adult and figuring out by myself, all because my parents wanted to, not heal their wounds and not become better people, and now I have to become the better person. So yeah, if you got anything from this, shit, we need to be talking about this dynamic 10 times more, because it's one thing to have a deadbeat dad, because a lot of guys in society are disgusting and deplorable, and a lot of these fathers don't know how to properly father a daughter. But to continue romanticizing this mother-daughter dynamic when we have mothers that are actively preying on your downfall and expecting you to deal with the same traumas that they have, because that's just what it is, that's crazy, and I'm not going for it. But yeah, if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Talk about your own mother-daughter trauma in the comment section, or son-daughter trauma in the comment section, because this video is mainly about toxic mothers. So yeah, and follow my other channel, and have a beautiful day.